Hello friends, welcome back to the channel and welcome back to Bookmas. Today I have a bookshelf organization and a little bit of a brief tour. I'm not going to go into detail about the books, it's kind of more just how they are laid out, but I will give you an overview at the end. The bookshelves are a little bit of a mess, not anymore, I'm filming this post having done them, but they were a little bit of a mess. I had new books that I needed to put into the collection. I do want to give a bit of a disclaimer. I have a lot of books. I have about 500 plus books that I've not read, which is an issue, and I'm aware it's an issue. I have an issue with not throwing away, but like getting rid of books that I haven't read. So I only really unhaul books that I've read. So my read collection is much, much smaller than my unread collection. Over the last 2 years as well, I have gone manic in a bit with buying. I do buy a lot of my books secondhand or from sales, but I have also gotten a lot of special editions from book boxes. 2026, I'm planning on having a bit of a different change up with my buying habits. I'm really going to reduce it, really use and try and take advantage of free resources, my library, BorrowBox, Spotify, which I pay for anyway. So yeah, I'm really going to try and do that in 2026. So I am aware that my book collection, especially the unread books, are kind of insane. And the reason that you'll kind of see that is because I separate my books out between read and unread. I like the way that it looks, and I like the way that it looks in my head, that I can kind of see the ones that I've read as well. I like the feeling of moving a book from its read section to its unread section. Yeah, it's just a personal preference. I also, though, do separate all my books between hardback and paperback, but then also by size. So I have regular hardbacks, small hardbacks, regular paperbacks, big paperbacks. It's a whole conglomerate of different ways that I organize them, but I will walk you through them. Without further ado, let's get into the video. So as a very brief overview, this is kind of what we're working with. As you can see, there is a lot of stuff in front of other books, which is not stuff that I want to be there. This is kind of, yeah, the overview. There are also a lot of random crap. Like I need to take out some mugs. There's a kitty. But I basically did recently do a bit of a manga reorganization and have ended up freeing up these 3 shelves here at the bottom. So what I think I'm going to do is I'm going to take these 2 shelves here, which are my non-fiction, condense them down over there. I probably will have to use all 3 as these are kind of stacked up a bit over here. And then that way gives me more space. Basically here is my hardcovers, and then this is like my hardcovers read, unread, and then bigger books. These are all Billy bookshelves, but these ones only have 6 shelves, and then these 3 all have 7. So there's 1 extra in the top, so they do not fit in the hardcovers, but they have a lot more space at the bottom. So I am also could in the future maybe get an extra shelf for these 3, so that would have more space, but it would all be paperback space. But yeah, the main thing I need to do though to start is get off all of these like stacks of books from my most recent haul, figure out where they need to go, and then place them in places. So once it's split up into read or unread, it's split into genres and age category in genre, and then it's alphabetized from author's last name. So there's a lot of random ways that I organize. That's the plan overall anyway. I need to start that. So that is the plan. 1 is, I think though, to move these 2 over to the other side.
I can be stubborn, thinking I'm right. I can be late, cause I'm taking my time. I can be driven, ambitious, your best friend, love of your life. I can be selfish, trying to be kinder, always forgetting, needing reminders, but I'll always be.
So the lighting isn't the best, but these 3 shelves, other than these top 2 shelves here, are basically done. These are the hardbacks. This is like my hardbacks and miscellaneous size that I've read. These 3, we have the classic, and then these are the miscellaneous size books. And then these 4 ones are my sister's, and they're the only ones that have Christmas decorations, because I don't have Christmas decorations. I do have some like Halloween-esque things out, but they're items that I would leave out all year round, which is why they're still out. So yeah, I don't really have Christmas decorations, although I love Christmas. So these ones are done, other than these 2 shelves. So it's now basically tackling these 2 shelves, and I do have all of these books here that need to go away. What I'm essentially going to do is I want all my read to be together. These 3 are read and that top one there is read, so I want to move that top one underneath so that half that bookshelf is read. I know it's crazy the amount that unread, but I explained it in my intro why there's quite a big difference. So I essentially think I'm going to work backwards. The last things on this bottom that they're going to go up are my mystery thriller. It's already alphabetized. I've got these separated into piles, so that pile there is like mystery thriller. So I'm going to work myself backwards, work up, and then slowly just bring everything down. That's what's going to happen. So I was able to get on these 2 shelves my kind of mystery thriller assortment of genres, all age kind of range, as well as other books that I think fall under like general fiction, literary fiction. I'm not quite sure. They're all in the top shelf as well. Again, because I haven't read them, I'm not quite sure where to place them. So they're kind of a catch-all category. That first one, that runs to about, yeah, there. And then it's all mystery thriller kind of genre. That all fits nicely on there, which means I'm going to have 2 shelves that are full basically of fantasy, and a little bit of romance. So that is the next plan. I am going to stack it on top of each other just to give myself a bit more room, because these are very deep. So like I have all that space I can use on top, so I might as well. So I was able to get my romance all at the bottom, and then I've got my very little bit of that's romancy, fantasy, romance, and then we're going into the sci-fi, and then it goes up to the beginning of my adult fantasy.
I can be stubborn, thinking I'm right. I can be late, cause I'm taking my time. I can be driven, ambitious, your best friend, love of your life. I can be selfish, trying to be kinder, always forgetting, needing reminders. But
I got to the end, everything was put away, everything was done, and then I turned around and saw another stack of books from my most recent haul sitting on the floor. So I now need to put these in. Hopefully it's not going to be too much of having to adjust things around, because that would be a pain in the butt. So the lighting isn't quite the best, but we are done. We have a big space here, and that's right by where I film. So I actually thought it'd be quite nice to have most of these books in the background being ones that I've actually read. So having that is quite nice. So anyway, we have bookshelf number 1, number 2, number 3, and number 4 and 5. So I will go over in a bit closer detail. So we start with my red. So again, I separate them between red and unread, and it starts up top with middle grade. Most of my middle grade is fantasy, so I won't go through all of the books, but you can see what they are. Going into Darren Shan, and then starting with the Shadow and Bone series for YA fantasy. I think the I Am Number 4 series is potentially more sci-fi, but I've included it anyway in the fantasy section. And then Rivers of London here is the start of the adult fantasy, any kind of fantasy, because Rivers of London is a urban fantasy series. And then Shatter Me is the start of the dystopian or sci-fi, which is just mixed. There's not very many. There's the little supernatural book there, which is like TV books, and then it goes into romance that is like, has a fantasy or paranormal element of any, again, age range, which ends with the XX. And then Christmas at the Palace is the start of my romance books in general. Felix Ever After, I've kind of started of the kind of general fiction, again, of any age range. And then that goes up to All These Bodies, which is the start of the, again, thriller, mystery section, again, any age range. So those are the 4 paperback shelves that I've read. So then we're going down. I have a little bit of space here, which is nice. So I've got my little Wolf Squishmallow, which was a Halloween one. A few books that are going to be ones that I'm going to try and actively do, and that's probably where I'll do them. There's a word search in there as well. So we start with my TV tie-in books. So I've got some Supernatural, some Charmed, a Grimm one, and an Elementary. And then we start with fantasy middle grade. This is where it's going to be quite dark because my chair is here and this is where I sit. But yeah, I have middle grade fantasy. Basically goes down all of these Rick Riordan ones. And then we start my YA fantasy with Victoria Aveyard. We go on to bookshelf number 2. So again, this is all YA fantasy. I need to find a space for that. I don't know why I just left it there. I'll figure that out in a minute. More YA fantasy. And then it starts the adult fantasy with Joe Abercrombie. Going down to the end. Here, The Handmaid's Tale is the first one in the sci-fi / dystopian. I didn't have a huge collection of sci-fi, dystopian, and like romance in general, so I decided to keep those age ranges together, whereas fantasy was very easy to split up. So yeah, that goes all the way there. And then we have down here, up to A Touch of Darkness, which is the start of, again, all the romance books that have a fantasy, supernatural, paranormal element to them. And then down here, I did end up just shoving those books on top, completely out of order. Phantasma is the only one here that isn't a kind of romance, but otherwise this is all the romance books that I have. And then we come, with decent lighting, to bookshelf number 3. So up top, we have books that fall into the category of other, kind of basically a general fiction, maybe a historical fiction, maybe a lit flick. But yeah, we have all of these of that different genre. And then Bad Blood starts the mystery, thriller, horror, that kind of like element. So it goes down. I have this little thing that my friend did for me and my sister when we got our new house, going all the way here. So that ends the unread paperbacks. It's crazy, it's insane, it's definitely something I'm going to be working on in 2026. So then the next 4 shelves are my sister's. I've read some of these books that are on here, but they are like displayed how she has them. She has her own little bits and stuff on them. So I'll just scan you over them. My cup of tea. And then we get down to this little shelf, which again has a bit of space. And this is small hardbacks and then a couple of odd sized paperbacks I just shoved there. So then we'll go on to the next bookshelf. So this bookshelf has quite a bit going on it. And this again is the start of the kind of hardbacks, but they are actually, again, red. So these 3 shelves are my reds, and it starts with regular size hardbacks. So that is just, and they're all mixed up together because there's not that many of them. So I just mix them all up together. So up to the end of 4th wing, and then it's basically like small hardbacks. I have Frankenstein and Dracula on display, but then yeah, it just goes small hardbacks and then odd sized paperbacks. And then all of that is red. I have some Halloween, well, again, they're not Halloween decorations because I leave them out all year. So then I have my classics, which actually I have read a decent amount of them up to The Secret Garden. That big pink one is the start of the books that I haven't read. My sister recently bought this gorgeous edition of War and Peace that she's going to read as part of our little yearly challenge. But yeah, those are the classics. And then it goes into odd-sized paperbacks, which I know for a lot of people that like to have authors and series and stuff like that together, it's probably quite infuriating that I split things up so much, but I really like doing things by size. And then I have, these are odds and sods. These are regular hardback sizes, but they are basically different genres. So like thrillers, a one romance, a couple of lit fics, so like random genres, and then my Lord of the Rings in special edition, and then also like some illustrated books there. So then we get into the hardback shelf, and these are all books that I have not read. I have no excuses other than it's much easier to buy books than it is to read them. But yeah, a lot of these are special editions that I got from book boxes. I am in 2026 cancelling a lot of them. And yeah, there's a few little decorations on there, but I'll just let you scroll down and see them. Gorgeous spines, a lot of them. This actually, I'll show you this. This I bought when I was in Venice. It's a little glass lotus flower. I thought it's gorgeous. And then more lovely editions going all the way down to the bottom. So there is an absolute ton to read. I have no need to buy any new books. Gorgeous, gorgeous books. I'm actually quite happy with this. I just need to keep it neat. I end up just dumping a load of stuff on my bookshelves, if I'm honest. And this doesn't actually include the other like 2 big shelves and 2 half shelves that I have for manga. I'll just give you a quick scan. So I have like a manga shelf there. That's got some random stuff on it. A manga shelf there, and then a manga shelf here as well, which has the beautiful cat tree in it with the cats sleeping. Actually, look how cute he is. Those, though, I might do a completely separate video. If anyone's interested, I could do a little whole collection video. And I will at some point go through these in detail. For this video, it's just a very brief overview. So thank you guys so much for joining me in this tour. It was a bit of a mess, but I'm actually really happy with how they look now. They look so neat. I just need to get into a habit of not leaving crap on them, which is what I do. There's a load of crap currently on my living room table now that needs organizing and sorting. That is tomorrow's job, though. Like I did mention, I am aware that my collection is a bit excessive for having not read them, but I do want to have a big collection, but I've read books. I need to actually read the books. But anyway, I will eventually get to them. If you guys want to see a in-depth tour where I actually share every book that I own, I did do a video sharing my complete physical TBR. It was 2 years ago, I think, roughly now, which I'll leave a link in the description if anyone is interested in that. I might do an updated version when I have a bit more time. Bookmas was not the time for that because it will take a while to film and also edit. And then yeah, if you're interested in seeing a manga collection, I could do that as well if anyone's interested. I haven't really bought manga in quite a while. I've only really been buying one series that I'm up to date on. Again, manga was the big thing that I was spending a lot of money on before I got back into books, and so now it's books. In 2026 is going to be neither. We are getting our shit together in terms of our book buying. But yeah, thank you guys so much for watching. I really, really appreciate it. I will see you again in a couple more days for more Bookmas. Bye!